An extremely active winter pattern is unfolding across the United States, and this is going to continue to bring rounds of snow, dangerous cold, and very difficult travel conditions through the weekend. We are in the middle of a relentless clipper pattern, with systems diving out of Canada every 24 to 36 hours, bringing snow to the same regions over and over. The Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Appalachians have been dealing with this all week, and it is not stopping yet. We have at least 2 more clipper systems coming Friday and Saturday. Lake effect snow continues to absolutely hammer areas downwind of the Great Lakes, with some locations already measuring 15 to 25 inches, and more is on the way. The most significant development is Saturday night into Sunday, where there is potential for a coastal low to develop, bringing what could be the heaviest snow of the season so far to the I-95 corridor from Washington, D.C. through New York City to Boston. All of this is happening under a brutally cold air mass, with temperatures running 20 to 30 degrees below average and wind chills in some areas dropping below negative 30 degrees. So in today's forecast, we are going to break down exactly what you need to know about this ongoing pattern, walk through each clipper system, and when it arrives, show you where the lake effect snow is most persistent, explain the coastal development Saturday night and why there is model disagreement, and look at what this pattern does as we head toward Christmas. And I want to begin with the current situation, because what is happening right now sets the stage for everything coming next. We just had a clipper system move offshore this morning after bringing several inches of snow from the Ohio Valley all the way through the mid-Atlantic and Northeast. That system is gone, but what it left behind is intense cold under very strong high pressure. This high pressure system is massive, and it is not going anywhere quickly. We actually have 2 high pressure centers positioned over the western United States, and they are working together to maintain a very strong ridge out west. That ridge forces the jet stream to buckle and dive over the eastern half of the country, bringing all of this cold air straight down from Canada. Thursday, December 11th, is one of the coldest days we have seen so far this season. Let me walk you through the temperatures city by city because this cold is significant. Fargo, North Dakota is waking up to -5 to -10 degrees this morning. Bismarck around -5 degrees. International Falls, Minnesota, -10 to -15 degrees. Minneapolis, around 5 to 10 degrees. Duluth, near 0 degrees. These are the coldest spots in the nation right now, and this is actual air temperature before factoring wind. Moving into the upper Midwest, Chicago is starting the day around 10 to 12 degrees. Milwaukee, near 8 degrees. Green Bay, around 5 degrees. Madison, about 8 degrees. Detroit will be around 15 to 18 degrees this morning. Grand Rapids near 12 degrees. Cleveland around 16 degrees. These temperatures are well below average for mid-December. Even further south and east, Indianapolis is near 15 degrees this morning. Columbus around 18 degrees. Cincinnati near 20 degrees. Pittsburgh about 20 degrees. Buffalo is around 18 degrees. Syracuse near 15 degrees. Albany around 20 degrees. These areas are not quite as cold as the northern plains, but still running 15 to 20 degrees below average. Now, if you are wondering how cold it is going to feel outside when you factor in the wind chill values this morning are dangerous. Fargo wind chills are near -30 to -35 degrees. This is life-threatening cold. Frostbite is possible in under 10 minutes with wind chills this low. Bismarck wind chills near -25 to -30. International Falls wind chills could be as low as -35 to -40 degrees. This is extremely dangerous. Minneapolis wind chills this morning are around -15 to -20 degrees. Duluth, -20 to -25. Chicago wind chills around -5 to -10. Milwaukee near -10. Green Bay wind chills around -15. Even Detroit wind chills are near 0 to 5 degrees. Indianapolis wind chills around 0 to 5 degrees. Buffalo near 5 degrees. If you need to be outside this morning across the northern plains or upper Midwest, you need to take this seriously. All exposed skin should be covered. Limit your time outdoors to just a few minutes if possible. Check on elderly neighbors and anyone who may be vulnerable to cold. Make sure heating systems are working. Bring pets inside. This is not the kind of cold to take lightly. On top of this cold, lake effect snow is going absolutely crazy right now. The setup could not be better for persistent lake effect. We have Arctic air flowing over lakes that are still relatively warm. Lake Superior is around 35 to 40 degrees. Lake Michigan is 38 to 43 degrees. Lake Erie is 35 to 40 degrees. When you get air that is 10 to 20 degrees flowing over water that is 35 to 40 degrees, you create massive instability and moisture production. That is what generates these intense lake effect snowbands. Downwind of Lake Superior, the upper peninsula of Michigan and far northern Wisconsin are getting buried. Marquette has already measured 15 to 18 inches of snow since this event began, and heavy snow is still falling. Houghton has seen 18 to 22 inches. These totals continue to climb as we speak. Snowfall rates in the heaviest bands are 1 to 2 inches per hour. Some brief bursts have reached 2 to 3 inches per hour. This creates whiteout conditions where visibility drops to near zero. Downwind of Lake Michigan, bands are setting up from Muskegon through Grand Rapids down towards South Bend. Muskegon has picked up 8 to 12 inches, Grand Rapids 6 to 10 inches, South Bend 4 to 8 inches. These bands shift a bit depending on wind direction, but the general area continues to get pounded. Downwind of Lake Erie, this is where some of the most impressive totals are happening. Buffalo already has 12 to 16 inches in the southern suburbs where the persistent band has set up. Orchard Park and Hamburg have measured 15 to 18 inches. Erie, Pennsylvania has seen 10 to 14 inches. Watertown, New York is in an incredibly favorable position with the fetch off Lake Ontario. They have measured 14 to 18 inches already, and more is coming. Some locations in the Tug Hill Plateau have picked up over 20 inches. Keep in mind, this lake effect snow continues through Thursday, all day Friday, and into Saturday morning. We are looking at an extended event here. By the time the wind direction finally changes Saturday afternoon, some locations could have total accumulations approaching 30 inches just from lake effect alone. That does not even include the snow from the Clipper systems. Now let me walk you through the timeline of the next systems, because we have multiple coming and the timing is important. By late Thursday night into early Friday morning, another Clipper system drops southeast out of the Dakotas. This one takes a more southern track as it moves through the Ohio Valley and then dives down into the Appalachians. Picture here is Friday afternoon around 1 p.m. That Clipper is bringing moderate to heavy snow across West Virginia, Kentucky, and even into parts of North Carolina. Charleston, West Virginia is looking at 4 to 7 inches Friday. Roanoke, Virginia could see 5 to 8 inches. Beckley, West Virginia, maybe 4 to 6 inches. Lexington, Kentucky, 3 to 6 inches. Even Asheville, North Carolina could pick up 2 to 4 inches. I want to remind you this is the third significant system to impact this region in less than a week. If you live in this area, you could easily have 15 to 20 inches of total accumulation from all the events this week combined. That is a lot of snow to deal with, especially when it keeps coming day after day. While that Friday system is wrapping up Friday night, yet another Clipper is already taking shape out in Montana. This is the relentless nature of this pattern. Notice how these systems just keep coming one after another. They follow almost the exact same path every time. That next Clipper swings down Friday night and moves through the northern plains and Midwest Saturday morning. By around 8 a.m. Saturday morning, snow is falling across Iowa, northern Missouri, and Illinois. Des Moines is looking at 3 to 6 inches Saturday morning into early afternoon. Cedar Rapids maybe 2 to 5 inches, Omaha 2 to 4 inches, Kansas City 1 to 3 inches. By around noon Saturday, that snow has spread into Chicago. Chicago could see 3 to 5 inches Saturday afternoon. Milwaukee, 2 to 4 inches. Rockford, Illinois, 3 to 5 inches. Madison, 2 to 4 inches. By Saturday afternoon around 2 p.m., the snow is overspreading Indiana and Ohio. Indianapolis is looking at 4 to 7 inches Saturday afternoon into evening. I think this could be one of the better amounts from this particular system. Columbus, 3 to 6 inches. Dayton, 3 to 5 inches. Fort Wayne, 4 to 6 inches. South Bend, 3 to 5 inches. Now here is where things get really interesting, and this is the forecast that has the most uncertainty. By Saturday evening into Saturday night, this Clipper begins to interact with moisture streaming up from the south. There is energy in the southern stream that could phase with this northern stream system. If that phasing happens, we get a coastal low developing. If it does not happen, the system stays weak and moves offshore quickly. Picture here is Saturday night at 8 p.m. We start to see precipitation intensifying across Kentucky, West Virginia, and into Pennsylvania. By around 10 p.m., Saturday night, snow is moving into the D.C. area, Baltimore, and southern Pennsylvania. By midnight Saturday night, Philadelphia is seeing snow. By around 2 a.m. Sunday morning, New York City is getting snow. By 4 a.m. Sunday, southern New England is seeing snow. The European model has been very consistent, showing this coastal development. On the European model, DC could see 6 to 10 inches total. I honestly think if the band sets up perfectly, some locations just northwest of the city could see closer to 12 inches. Baltimore is looking at 6 to 9 inches on the European model. Philadelphia could see 8 to 12 inches. This would be the biggest snow of the season for Philadelphia if it happens. Northern New Jersey, 6 to 10 inches. New York City is tricky because the rain-snow line could be a factor, but the European model shows 5 to 9 inches for most of the city, with higher amounts in the northern suburbs. Southern Connecticut, 4 to 8 inches. Providence, Rhode Island, 5 to 8 inches. Boston could see 4 to 7 inches. But I want to remind you that the GFS model shows something very different. The GFS has this system, but it does not phase the energy together as efficiently. On the GFS, DC still gets decent snow, maybe 4 to 6 inches. Baltimore, 3 to 6 inches. But then it pulls the low offshore more quickly. Philadelphia only sees 2 to 4 inches on the GFS. New York City, 1 to 3 inches. Boston, maybe 1 to 2 inches. Most of the heavier snow on the GFS stays over the ocean. This is a significant disagreement, and we are now within about 56 hours of this event. Usually by this point, we have better model agreement. The fact that we still have this split tells you this is a difficult forecast. My lean right now is toward the European model because it has handled this pattern better all week. It has been more consistent with the Clipper tracks and the overall evolution of this pattern. The GFS has been bouncing around quite a bit. That gives me slightly more confidence in the European solution, but I would definitely not say it is a lock. If you live anywhere from DC to Boston, you absolutely need to be monitoring this forecast Friday and Saturday. This could be a significant snow event, or it could be minor, depending on which model is correct. Make your travel plans with flexibility. Have backup options. If you need to travel Sunday, you might want to consider going Saturday instead or waiting until Monday. Let me break down the lake effect snow totals, because this is a major story in its own right. Buffalo has already seen 12 to 16 inches in the southern suburbs and is looking at an additional 8 to 12 inches through Saturday. Total accumulations could reach 20 to 25 inches in the most persistent bands south of the city. Erie, Pennsylvania, has measured 10 to 14 inches and could see another 6 to 10 inches. Total accumulations near 20 inches are possible. Syracuse has picked up 10 to 15 inches in the favored areas and could see another 8 to 12 inches through Saturday. We are talking about potential totals near 25 inches in the heaviest lake effect bands. Watertown, New York, is in an incredibly favorable position. They have already measured 14 to 18 inches and could see another 10 to 15 inches through Saturday. Total accumulations could approach 30 inches in the Tug Hill Plateau. Oswego, New York, similar setup with totals potentially reaching 25 to 30 inches. These are significant accumulations even for areas that are used to lake effect snow. Downwind of Lake Superior, Marquette could see total accumulations reach 25 to 30 inches by Saturday evening. Houghton could approach 30 to 35 inches. Some isolated locations in the Keweenaw Peninsula could see even more. Downwind of Lake Michigan, Muskegon could total 15 to 20 inches. Grand Rapids, 10 to 15 inches. South Bend, 8 to 12 inches. These are not single storm totals. This is persistent lake effect snow that falls for 48 to 72 hours straight. When you have bands producing 1 to 2 inches per hour for extended periods, the snow really piles up. Snowfall rates in the most intense bands could briefly reach 2 to 3 inches per hour, which creates near zero visibility and makes travel impossible. Now let me break this down region by region so you know exactly what to expect. If you are in the northern plains, like North Dakota, South Dakota, and far northern Minnesota, you are in the source region for all of this cold air. Thursday features the coldest temperatures of the winter so far. Fargo highs only reaching 0 to 5 degrees Thursday. Overnight lows, Thursday night, -15 to -25. Friday highs, maybe 5 to 10 degrees. Saturday highs getting up to 10 to 15 degrees, which actually feels warm compared to Thursday. Wind chills Thursday morning are life-threatening at -25 to -40 degrees. Each clipper brings light snow with accumulations of 1 to 3 inches. Roads remain snow-covered and icy all week. If you are in the upper Midwest like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Michigan, this is persistent cold and very active lake effect. Minneapolis highs Thursday only around 10 degrees. Friday, highs in the teens. Saturday, highs near 20 degrees. Overnight lows remain in the single digits to low teens through Saturday. Milwaukee highs Thursday near 15 degrees. Friday near 20. Saturday, low 20s. Lake effect snow continues downwind of Lake Superior with additional accumulations of 10 to 20 inches possible through Saturday. Each clipper adds another 2 to 4 inches across the region. Travel in lake effect zones is very difficult with rapidly accumulating snow and blowing snow, creating whiteout conditions. If you are in the Midwest, like Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri, you have had multiple clippers this week, and Saturday brings another one. Des Moines has probably picked up 6 to 10 inches total this week and could see another 3 to 6 inches Saturday. Chicago, similar totals. Indianapolis has seen 8 to 12 inches this week and could see another 4 to 7 inches Saturday. St. Louis has been on the southern edge of most systems with 3 to 6 inches total. Temperatures remain below average with highs in the 20s and lows in the teens. Saturday afternoon and evening brings the next round of snow with the clipper moving through. If you are in the Ohio Valley like Ohio, Kentucky, and West Virginia, this has been a very active week. Columbus has picked up 8 to 12 inches total from multiple systems and could see another 3 to 6 inches Saturday. Cincinnati, 6 to 10 inches total this week. Dayton, similar amounts. Friday brings another system for West Virginia and Kentucky, with Charleston looking at 4 to 7 inches. Lexington, 3 to 6 inches. Louisville, 2 to 5 inches. Travel has been difficult all week, with snow-covered roads and repeated accumulations. If you are in the Appalachians and Virginia corridor, you have been hit harder than almost anywhere else. Charleston, West Virginia could have 18 to 24 inches of total snow by Saturday from all the systems this week. Roanoke, Virginia, 15 to 20 inches total. Beckley, West Virginia, 12 to 18 inches. Richmond, Virginia has even picked up 4 to 8 inches, which is significant for that area. Friday brings yet another system with 3 to 7 inches possible. This relentless pattern has made travel very difficult and snow removal challenging. Make sure you have supplies at home because getting out has been hazardous. If you are in the mid-Atlantic like DC, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, your main concern is Saturday night into Sunday. If the European model verifies, this could be a significant event. DC looking at 6 to 10 inches. Baltimore, 6 to 9 inches. Philadelphia, 8 to 12 inches. Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 5 to 8 inches. This would create very difficult travel Sunday morning. If the GFS model is correct, amounts are much less, with DC seeing 4 to 6 inches, Baltimore 3 to 6 inches, and Philadelphia only 2 to 4 inches. The forecast should become clearer by Saturday morning. If you have plans Sunday, make sure you have flexibility. If you are in the Northeast, like New York, Pennsylvania, and New England, you have two major concerns. First is ongoing lake effect, downwind of Lakes Erie and Ontario through Saturday. Buffalo, looking at total accumulations of 20 to 25 inches. By Saturday evening, Erie, Pennsylvania, 15 to 20 inches. Syracuse, 20 to 25 inches. Watertown potentially approaching 30 inches. This is significant even for these lake effect prone areas. Travel in these zones is very difficult with whiteout conditions at times. Second concern is the coastal system, Saturday night into Sunday. New York City could see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches on the GFS to 7 to 9 inches on the European model. Providence, 4 to 8 inches possible. Boston, 3 to 7 inches possible. This wide range of outcomes reflects the model uncertainty. Monitor the forecast closely if you have travel plans. Now, let me explain why this pattern has been so active and what happens next. The jet stream configuration features a very strong ridge positioned over the western United States and a deep trough locked over the east. This creates extremely strong northwest flow aloft. The jet stream winds at 30,000 feet are over 100 miles per hour in some areas. That is why these clipper systems move so quickly. Notice how they follow almost identical tracks. They drop southeast from Montana and the Dakotas, cross the northern plains, move through the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and then some of them take that southern dive into the Appalachians and Virginia. The persistence of this pattern is what makes it unusual. We have had clipper after clipper for nearly a week now. That is because the high pressure out west is so strong and locked in place. It is not budging. The cold air continues to get reinforced by high pressure building in from Canada behind each system. That is what keeps temperatures consistently cold. The lake effect is so persistent because we have the perfect combination of cold air and warm lake water. The temperature difference between the air and the lake surface is 30 to 35 degrees. That creates huge amounts of instability. Add in the long fetch across the lakes with northwest winds, and you get these incredibly persistent bands that just pump out snow for days on end. Confidence is very high that lake effect snow continues through Saturday with significant accumulations in the typical zones. Confidence is high on the Friday clipper, impacting Virginia and West Virginia. Confidence is moderate to high on the Saturday clipper moving through the Midwest. Confidence is lower on the coastal development, Saturday night into Sunday. That remains the biggest question mark in this forecast. The models should come into better agreement over the next 24 to 36 hours. After Sunday, the pattern begins to shift. The ridge out west starts to break down, and the trough over the east lifts northward. The jet stream becomes more zonal, meaning it flattens out. This allows the clipper activity to slow down significantly. Milder air begins to push northward from the Gulf of Mexico around Tuesday, December 17th through Thursday, December 19th. Temperatures could actually run above average for a brief period, especially across the south and southeast. This warm-up is not permanent, though. The Arctic air that has been pulled down into the United States retreats back into Canada and the Arctic. The air mass reloads and gets even colder. Then around December 23rd through December 26th, models are suggesting that cold air gets released again, bringing another surge of Arctic air into the United States just in time for Christmas. But we are talking 10 to 14 days out, so confidence on those specific details is quite low. The pattern could evolve differently. So to summarize, multiple clipper systems continue to bring snow to the same regions through Saturday, with the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Appalachians seeing repeated impacts. Lake effect snow is relentless downwind of the Great Lakes, with some locations potentially seeing 25 to 30 inches by Saturday evening. The biggest uncertainty is Saturday night into Sunday, with a potential coastal low that could bring significant snow from DC to Boston, but model disagreement remains. Temperatures stay well below average through Saturday, with dangerous wind chills across the northern plains and upper Midwest. After Sunday, the pattern shifts, allowing a brief warm-up before potential cold returns around Christmas. If you have travel plans this weekend, build in extra time and have flexibility, especially Saturday night into Sunday along the I-95 corridor. If you are in lake effect snowbelts, travel is very difficult through Saturday with whiteout conditions possible. Make sure vehicles have emergency kits with blankets, food, water, and supplies. Check on elderly neighbors. Make sure heating systems are working properly. Keep pets inside during the coldest periods Thursday morning. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.